All right, here we go. Let's get into this final presentation. Yeah, I had to put the energy all the way up. We're going to be doing how to create an amazing slide deck using what I like to call the 2030, the 10, 20, 30 rule. Kurt, read the slide. The 20, 10, 20, 30 rule is what it is, and it's application. All right. So according to this rule, right, the 10, 20, 30 rule, which was created by this person called Guy Kawasaki, all right, Guy Kawasaki, like the motorcycle. A PowerPoint presentation should have 10 slides, last no more than 20 minutes, and contain no font or typeface smaller than 30 points. 10 slides, 20 minutes, 30-point fonts. Kawasaki came up with this presentation due to his line of business, right? So he had to listen to people pitching businesses all the time. And he had a short period of time to do it. So you can imagine this is like Shark Tank for the whole day. People coming in, it's like, just get to the point. So in this rule, we're looking at 10 slides, 20-minute duration, and you're going to keep the font size around 30. So it's nice and big. All right. And we're going to get into it. Given people's increasing attention spans being so short, keeping your presentation compact can save you a lot of time while getting to the meat of the matter and getting your point across. Now, question. Anybody was distracted by what was on the screen while I was talking? Did anyone read this correctly? How did you read it? Did anyone say, are people easily distracted? Is that how you read it?
Or
No,
easily.
that's not how
Yeah,
I read it. I read it,
that's
are
how it.
easily people distracted as a question mark after. Funny enough.
My brain automatically corrected it to the right thing.
Exactly. Right? Brain automatic corrected. You saw it and you're like, are people easily distracted? But it's are easily people distracted. There you go. But anyway, this cat with the butterflies, pretty awesome. So we get to the point because people definitely are easily distracted. 10 slides or less, do not let it drag on. No, pet peeve, do not put everything that you have to say on the slide. Put what you want people to remember as the slide. All right. Because if they're reading, they're not really listening to what you're saying. And if they can read everything that you're going to say, you don't need to say it. So Kawasaki pointed out that it's challenging to understand more than 10 concepts in a single meeting. So most people assume that you need to be highly detailed in order to be impressive, but it's not always the case. So with this 10, 20, 30 rule, it suggests that you use those 10 slides to tackle all the topics important to your audience, right? You can underline that if you wrote notes. It's important to your audience. It's not to make you sound impressive. It is for whoever you're talking to. Your slides are, the content has to be more impactful for them than it is for you. So 10 minutes or less. You should be done in about 20 minutes, which should leave the rest of the time allotted for questions. So if I do this right, I should be done by, what is that, 7:35? We gonna see. So how to create a amazing slide deck, roadmaps. What? Okay, cool. It's a roadmap, right? You want to be able to show persons where they are going. So at the beginning of this slide, you should already have an idea how it's going to end. All right. So at the beginning of this, I told you guys I'm going to show you the 10, 20, 30 rule. This is how you create an amazing slide deck. I told you what the 10 was. I told you what the 20 was. Right now, we are in the middle of the 20. I haven't gone into anything about what the 30 is. So you show the process where they begin, where they end. All right. So that persons are constantly waiting. They're following the story to see where it takes you. All right. So in your presentation, if you can make an emotional connection with your audience, you're going to be doing a good job because consciously or not, the audience is going to form a bias for or against the presenter within seconds. So if this was actually a serious class and I showed up with a bonnet on my head, like, this man for real, how are you going to teach a class with a bonnet on your head? Just like this. All right, so we make tentative judgment about everyone we meet on very little evidence. So though we might not admit it, it's because we see ourselves as being rational. All right, we see ourselves as being rational. More than anything else, the personal impression, all right, you make determines whether or not the audience accepts your message. You must come across as likable and trustworthy. All right. I'm not going to ask you guys if I'm likable, because you answered that question on class 1. Yeah, I was like, sir, we got this in person. Anyway, so we are persuaded by reason, but we are moved by emotion. All right. So that's something you could definitely write down. Most individuals persuaded by reason, but moved by emotion. That's going to come across with sales, and that can also come across with experiences. I can tell you all the amazing things you're going to experience at my event. I can tell you all the amazing things that are going to happen at your wedding just by telling you, like, these are the centerpieces, these are tables, these are chairs. But if I paint you a picture, it's like, listen to me. When we meet, you tell me your vision for what you want for the biggest day of your life. That one day when you look into the eyes of this man, this woman that you've dreamed about so many times, and you're walking down that aisle and you see the confetti and the butterflies and the doves being released into this air. Your family is all around you, seated at these tables with the drapery and the blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You got the people wrapped up in the emotion of what's happening. Oh, people are persuaded by reason, but they're moved by emotion. All right. So several studies conclude that up to 90% of decisions we make are based on emotion. All right. We could go out, we could buy something because I want this, I need this in my life. Is it rational? No. Think about it this way. I can buy a bag to hold my stuff that's about $20, but I can also get Bay a Birkin to hold her stuff. And you know what I mean? It's gonna do the same job, but one is just gonna look a little bit better. All right, so let the audience see you smile. The key to being likable is simple. Show you like the audience, and they're going to reciprocate. All right, so as you are presenting your information, you want to come with some energy. You want to come with those positive vibes so that they have no doubt when they're seeing you, right? They have no doubt about trusting you. You guys hearing stuff in the background? No? All right, cool. All right, so wait. All right, so you get, persuaded by reason, moved by, persuaded by reason, moved by emotion. All right, so you get a strong start towards likability if before you begin speaking, you take time to look around the audience warmly, enthusiastically, with a big smile, right? And that's usually if you can see your audience. So make eye contact. You see, that's why it's want y'all with the cameras on, so I can look y'all in your digital eyes. Was that awkward? Was that weird? Was that weird for you guys? All right, no problem. So you can maintain that steady eye contact throughout your talk. All right. So if you're thinking about your client, Veronica, is Veronica her name? I feel like Veronica is her name. You're thinking about her client, right? She is she's a motivational speaker, right? So she's bold. She maintains eye contact, but it's not in a weird way, right? You could lean into that. There's certain things that you can express, like maybe if you decided to do the booth, there's things that you could include in there to help people get past that feeling of, I don't know how to talk to a crowd. Like, just pick one person. Imagine everybody is wearing pajamas and you just pick one person and you talk to that one person in the crowd, right? We call that the avatar, right? Your one ideal client. But if you come on stage, you're looking all over the place, you're not really focused on anyone in particular, you're talking like this, people are going to get nervous because, like, why this person can focus and sit still. All right. So you want to make that connection emotionally. Then you want to get that stability, that reliability when they see you by, you know what I mean, holding eye contact for a short period of time. It's like, I know exactly what I'm saying and I'm speaking to this audience to deliver it. All right. You can also show your humanity by telling stories. Remember, people are moved by emotion. So if you have a point that you're making, you can find something in your experience that delivers that point and you share that. That's going to help the point hit a whole lot better than just saying the fact. All right. So if I had a story about maintaining eye contact and let's say I was doing a presentation and I was just looking through the door, it might not work out so well. But you get a good story, then that might work a whole lot better for you. All right. So the audience has to know that you know your subject. Presenters whose expertise isn't recognized by the audience shouldn't try to establish it, shouldn't try to bring it across by telling all of their credentials. So let's say I came on this class and I said, look, listen to me. The reason why you should listen to me is because I have XYZ degrees. I've done this, this, and this, and this, and this. I can bring those things up throughout the semester in different points, depending on what I'm saying, as opposed to just saying it at the beginning of every class. Right? You can feel that I've had experience doing certain things. And when it comes across in that organic way, you take it in a lot better. Right? So your client can do the same thing. If they're with their music, how they interact with their fans online, are they accessible? Are they not accessible? Do they do meet and greets? All of those things are ways that you can tell your story. If you're like SZA, then you definitely tell people stuff that you went through, right? Just because you want to relate to people like that. You want to help people get through those times that you were going through as well. You relate on that level. Now you feel like we're homies. You feel like we are close, we're friends. So now when I listen to the music, I'm not just picking somebody to listen to. It's like, yo, I need to go see what's going on with SZA right now. All right. And present with energy. Your energy is going to be different. Like for me, for you talking to you guys, it's different for me if I'm sitting and if I'm standing. If I'm standing, I'm forced to have a different energy. When I sit, I can be a little bit more relaxed. Is there some pain attached to it? 100%. But you guys are worth it. So worth it. All right, so capture the audience attention right away by telling a dramatic story. Keep the energy level high, all right, throughout the presentation. Unless, of course, your brand is to be super low key, super nonchalant. Some people can do that and get away with it. Other people can't. Because there's a difference being monotone and not interesting, and then you just being like so chill. All right, so you want to get them excited about your idea. You can walk in strong. You can move confidently, right? Stand tall, smile, look over the room, speak with conviction, right? The less and that you say in your talk, the better. All right, that's going to work out better for you. So instead, if you need to pause, instead of saying then that's going to be better, right? It's going to come across more like you know what you're talking about and you are not making this up on the spot. All right, so those are all little tips. Using short sentences, using dynamic words like onomatopoeias. So when you start to saying things like bang and boohoo, if you find a way to add that into a presentation, let me know. But using your hands, facial expression, your tone of voice, your pitch, the pacing. Sometimes you speak fast and then all of a sudden you slow down just to make sure that the point hits. Those are all tools that you can use in your presentations. All right. Most importantly, you want to keep that short, keep it simple. All right. Now you definitely want to spell out the payoff. So after you went through this whole process of telling people all this stuff, at the end of the day, they want to know what's in it for them, right? What is in it for them? What do I get at the end of this day? So if you were thinking of doing a presentation for your client, maybe you wanted to pitch your client to the owner of Giant Hydra, then the payoff is going to be, listen, you need to have my green brother. You need to have Tempo Teddy on the main stage. It has to happen, right? If you want the people at the front waving their hands, going crazy, going nuts, you need to have Tempo Teddy. Why? We have sold out small events for the last 6 months. We started off with 20, we moved to 50. We had to get a bigger venue. We are at 100. We sold out that 100 event 3 weeks back to back. Whenever I show up, my tribe shows up. And on top of that, my tribe shows up with their checkbook. My tribe shows up with their wallet ready to spend. So Tempo Teddy is the best thing for your event. You got merch that needs to be bought, my people are willing to buy. Boom. Done. All right. Excellent sales pitch. Spell out the payoff. Right? Don't leave people guessing. And definitely don't teach them a whole bunch of stuff and then walk away. It's like, so what are you supposed to do with this now? Right? It's as if you guys went to let's say you went to a gym and all the person does every time you come to the gym is show you, point to all the machines. Like, all right, this is this machine, it does this and XYZ, and this is that, and this is that. But it never tell you how to work it. They never tell you, all right, if you work on this, and this machine, in 3 months, you could look like this. Right? Because people are persuaded by a reason, but they're moved by emotion. All right. So appeal to the head with evidence the audience will find credible, and the heart with inspiring descriptions of the payoffs. The payoff might be crystal clear to you, but never assume it is for the audience. Restate your key points in different ways, with examples, with analogies. Make them memorable with sound bites. Use alliteration, use acronyms, use rhymes. Whatever you need to do that so that you have something that sticks. At any point during this semester, if you hear me start a sentence with my client who does, you already know what I'm going to say, right? You already know I'm talking about my client that targets women who are 25 to 30 years old that love to sing when they're cooking in the kitchen. You already know my client does. It's memorable now, right? We just learned that phase. People are persuaded by reason, but moved by emotion. We just learned that. All right. So if that's a phrase that we learn, then you could literally do a presentation that is based on the acronym emotion. Right. And that could be how your 10 slides are set up. Granted, emotion is what? 7 words. So the first 3 could be introduction, and then you go E, whatever, MOTION. And at the end of it, you hit them with the, and this, ladies and gentlemen, has been the emotional framework for creating presentations. Why? Because people are persuaded by reason, but they're moved by emotion. So just to wrap up, in creating this presentation, you want to have 10 slides, no more than 10 slides. You're going to let your presentation run for 20 minutes. And you're going to use a text size that is 30 point or more. Why? You want those things, those bullet points, those things that are memorable, those things that people can, if they only took your slides, if they only took pictures of your slides, they should understand the story of everything that you went through with them. Right? But you could use that to talk and add stories to what they're seeing on the screen. All right. With that being said, as the end of this particular presentation, and I believe I am 3 minutes early. All right, there you go. So that is the 20, 10, 20, 30 rule. Any questions?
Well, my mainly one would be what else could we add to make this more interesting? Because my thing about creativity is not how much you can necessarily add, but when you take away what you think you should take away, what is left to me is the perfect ratio of what people should receive. So I'm
Right.
studying like based off of what we have here, well, based off of my notes, as I say, because we have to get the actual slides and recording and so on. But based off of what I have here, I'm wondering if there's anything else I could add in, because it gave us some very, very valuable points. Things like people aren't persuaded by reason, people are persuaded by reason, they're moved by emotion. You know, if you're speaking to the head, you use credible evidence, and if you're speaking to the heart, you use inspiring descriptions. I'm wondering what else we could add in here to really help sell and not oversell or spell out the payoff. So just
Right.
wondering if there's anything else that you think we should have that you don't have documented right now.
Yeah. We always begin with the end in mind. All right. That's the one thing you do for anything. So the reason that we took our client through the ABC goals is because we want to begin with the end in mind. When we're looking at your presentation, you need to know what's the end result. What do you want from this at the end of the day? If you don't know the purpose, then it's going to be hard to even get close to there. So if you walk into the presentation, let's see, Jamal, what does your client do again? Client is a musician, right?
Yes, Darkman is an artist.
Right.
So
Dartman is an artist. So
uh
let's make this real. Let's say Dartman, you were doing a presentation for Dartman. What kind of presentation would make sense for your artist? Is he talking to students? Are you pitching him to a label? Like what makes sense?
well, pitching into a label preferably because his aim would be to get on shows, his aim would be to get on tours, his aim would be to get revenue for his skills or for his talent.
All right. So we're going to begin with the end in mind. We know that the end result is this label signs my artist. So if that's the end result, we now got to go to figure out what the beginning is. What do these people need to know so that of all the other people that they're working with, they're going to pick Darkman, right? Now, you need to be attractive to this label for sure. 100% you need to be attractive. Are you going to oversaturate their roster or are you going to complement their roster? Right? I'm going to are you going to complement their roster? So you think about the reason. Do you think that Dartman is going to be a good fit for this label? If you don't think he's going to be a good fit, or if you don't think he could provide value to that label, then you shouldn't pitch him to that particular label. And that's different to you pitching to every label because you figure, all right, they got 20 labels in, let's say it's the Caribbean. They got 20 labels in the Caribbean. I can pitch to all. Somebody gonna sign my guy. That's one way to go, but it's not really strategic. If you know that this label doesn't have any artists like Darkman, that also doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to take him, but there's a certain type of label that would take someone like your client, right? And you're going to do as much research as you can to find out what that is, because you need to position Darkman as a solution to the problem that this label has. And everything in your presentation is going to, you're going to start by showing them what the problem is. So let's say it was, is it What type of music he does? Because I feel like I might be confusing
He
Darkman with
does
another
that
person.
salt and Beijing that salt, but remember, we was going to use the term crossed because he doesn't niche. He doesn't trade a niche as much. Yes, he is Beijing, but remember, he also wants to tap into all these outside cultures like Trinidadian and Jamaican and so on. So
Right,
he's looking at tapping into the regional culture as well.
right. So let's say we fast forward and Darkman is as big in the Caribbean as Marshall. But let's say it's Marshall confined to the Caribbean. So Marshall never went out the Caribbean yet. That's where Darkman is right now. So if you were to come to a label saying like you are missing out on millions of people within this particular range, and my client is the key to get to those people. See what I'm saying? So if the problem is they're all over North and South North America, Europe and all of that, but they
Mhm,
haven't tapped into this market, if you're able to position your client as you could expand. There's a lot of
mhm,
people over here, right? There's a lot of people over here, and this person has shown that while they lead with dance hall, they can also transition into house. They can transition into Afrobeat. They can transition into whoever. So your
mhm.
major clients on your label, if I do features with them, listen, I can make that connection for you. I can bridge the gap.
Yeah,
Darkman
broaden the
could be,
market funnel,
pardon?
expand their market funnel.
Correct. So you're going to expand the
Mhm,
market. So you're showing how Darkman benefits them as opposed
mhm.
to, I need you to sign my client. I need you to sign my client. They don't need that
Uh,
desperation.
that's where you're starting with the beginning with the end in
Yeah, you
mind.
beginning with the end in mind. You beginning with your end in mind is
Mhm.
Darkman gets signed.
Correct.
But in order to get them to sign, you don't want them to do it just based on credible evidence. You don't want them to think just with their head. You want them to see the possibility. Like, if we sign Darkman, you mean that we can open up a completely different market that we've never been in?
Mhm,
We're gonna be first in this space. That's what you're telling me.
mhm. Yeah.
And all we need to do is sign this man that already controls this space. You know what I mean? He already
Already has
controls
the
the space.
audience that they want.
Right. He
Yeah.
already has a captured audience.
Right.
You're not in
Mhm,
that space yet, but he can help bring your current audience over here by working with them. You
mhm,
tapping into a completely new market now,
mhm.
right?
I
So
love
you
that idea. Yeah.
so no, that is you're using the heart work, you're using the emotion to help them see the possibility, right? After they're moved by the emotion, they're like, you know what? I think you're onto something. Now you can go into the rational. You'll be like, look, Dark Man has sold how many albums? Dark Man has toured how many places? Filled out how many stadiums? So if it's a thought process for you to do this project as part of the thing, using your A type, B type, C type goals, you get to create the timeline. So by the time you do the presentation as an assignment, Dark Man may have completed his A type and B type goals.
Sorry, is there breaking up anybody else or is just me?
Oh,
Looking
I
at
thought it was just me.
things,
Yes, sir.
it's-
You kind of
yeah.
fidgeted and sticking, and I didn't understand nothing that you just said.
I don't know. Is it better now? Still bad? How about now?
Yes, we are
Still
back
bad?
online. So we're back online. Yeah.
Yay. Cool. All right. What was
But
the
yeah,
last thing?
the
What was the
information that
last thing you heard clearly?
you're giving, in terms of the expanding the market and showing the value that Darkman can bring because he has the audience that they could no use. So
Oh,
that is very last year. At least that's way last year clearly.
okay. All right. So hopefully it came out in a recording on my end rather than me going over that and doing your project for you. Listen,
But no,
guys.
no, no.
The
Listen, I
easiest
really
way.
appreciate what you did. What I was looking for is just what you showed me. It wasn't just showing me the what we call the layout. It was showing me more of the psychology we should be implementing within the 10 to 20 to 30 rule. And that's what I
Yeah,
was looking for.
yeah,
Right.
for sure.
You showed us that, especially that one last bit you gave, you gave that insight to begin with the end in mind.
Right.
To me, that rounds everything out. Now you know why you're using your 10 slides, how you're going to go about using your 10 slides. Now you know why 20 minutes now is going to be all you really need. Anything else more could be just overselling. Remember, we don't want to spell out the payoff or assume the payoff, just spell out the payoff. So everything to me just kind of rounded together and
Right.
makes sense. And I think the rest will probably share their features as well. And let me know, well, let us know rather, how they see what you've shared so far.
All right. Let's see. Katrina, Kamani, Savannah, Shantia, anybody has any questions based on this presentation? Everything was clear? Crystal clear?
Mute, Jamun.
I said he's breaking up.
Am I
Before
still breaking
you
it?
started break up there, I heard when you asked if everything was crystal clear, and for me it is.
Okay. Is it better now? Is it still terrible?
Still the same thing.
Okay. Okay. Um,
But I believe everybody should be on the safe side. And this information that you gave us, though my sound was crackled, but it was very, very informative from where I'm standing. I think is going to benefit a lot. And for anybody who was kind of lost and didn't want to say, I think it kind of pointed them in a better direction if they weren't there already. So I think it done the job, get the point across.
am I still breaking up?
Not at the
No?
moment.
Oh, but I love that.
And let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Like that thought.
Especially since you guys didn't get your second break.